Hey, what's up everybody? It's Cory, and this morning I'm out here sighting in my varmint rifle. I just made some modifications to it. I put a CMC trigger in there. This is the first AR15 I've had, and up to this point it's had the stock trigger, which was just absolute trash. It had a break. You would pull it, it was very gritty. You'd get to a point where it kind of broke and you thought the gun was fixing to go off, and then you had to pull it a little bit more, a lot of grit, and finally it would go off. It's very tough to group with this rifle. I've had a lot of successful hunts, I just haven't had the accuracy that I've wanted. And so I finally made a very important upgrade by putting in a custom CMC trigger. I also just put a new Leupold 3x9x50 scope on top. It's new to this gun, we'll just say that. And then I had the barrel threaded so that I could put the SilencerCo Omega on there just for a little bit of noise suppression when I'm out varmint hunting. Anyways, we're gonna start at 25 yards, just get a bullet on target somewhere where we can make modifications once we back it up to 100 yards. So anyways, I'm just gonna take you through that process, give you a little bit of feedback on the trigger, on the suppressor, things of that nature. So you guys stay tuned. We're gonna get this thing tuned up. Today we're gonna be shooting Hornady Varmint Express. It's 40 grain, 223, and we're gonna get to it, see if we can get a bullet on target. It's an old real estate sign of mine, and then we'll back it up to 100 yards. All right, so I was aiming right here at the H and ended up hitting, looks to be about 4 inches low, and I'm gonna say about an inch left, and we're at 25 yards, so I think that's good enough to where when I back it up to 100, we'll be on paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and tape a target up here. Okay, for getting it on paper, I was using my slick tripod. I'm gonna actually be laying down in the bed of my truck and using the sandbags on this one, just to make sure I've got a rock solid hold on the trigger. Make sure there's no movement or anything like that. I would be shooting off of our shooting bench, but I don't know if you guys can see back behind me over there, it is torn up. The cows have torn it up. It's been exposed to the weather and all that. So we're gonna make do with what we have, trust the old bed of the truck. We're gonna get this thing tuned up. I'm gonna go check and see how those 3 shots did, see what adjustments we need to make, and then we'll head back and put a couple more. All right, so there's the group right there. Obviously there's the bullseye. So we've got some adjustments to make, but fear not, we will get those done. All right, so it looks like we are about 8 inches left and 8 inches low. So we're gonna go plug those numbers in, make some adjustments. This is my first time shooting with the CMC trigger. I'm gonna see if I can tighten up that group just a little bit and get this thing dialed in. Guys, if you've never sighted in a rifle, my #1 tip for you to keep you from wasting ammo and guessing where your bullet's flying is, first off, start at about 25 yards. You know, with the AR15, you can't really bore sight it like you can a bolt action rifle. You can't take the bolt out, look down the barrel and have a good idea of where you're gonna hit. So with an AR15, I like to start at about 25 yards. I'll get 1 round to where I know where it's hitting. So what I did, I got 1 round on target, I put up a piece of paper, and then I got a 3-shot group that was about 8 inches low, 8 inches left, and now I can make an accurate adjustment. This keeps me from wasting ammo and guessing where the bullet's flying and all that good stuff. So we're gonna make an adjustment on this. It's 8 inches low, 8 inches left. This is a 1/4 MOA at 100 yards. So we're gonna do 32 clicks on this scope. Is gonna be roughly 8 inches of adjustment. And then once we get it where we want it, we can really fine tune it and get this thing dialed in. All right, so we did 32 clicks up and 32 clicks to the right. Hopefully my math is right. Guys, I can see from here that that is just about perfect. I think I'm about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch high. I'm right on the top side of the bullseye. We'll go take a look. All right, so first group was right here, 3 shots at 100 yards, and almost can cover it up with my thumb. I need to get it a little tighter. Second group, I did 32 clicks right, 32 clicks up. Obviously, we've got 8 inches low there, and not the best group. Need to tighten that up a little bit more, but I do know that I am pretty close to where I need to be. I'm about I'd say the center of that group, 3/4 of an inch high, and I'd say a 1/4 inch left. Almost not worth making an adjustment, but I'm gonna see if I can tighten that up a little bit. This time I am going to be aiming up here at the left. All right guys, just to recap, this is our first group. It is 8 inches low, 8 inches left. If you want to buy a house, go to corymills.com or text me. Cover that up, I'm not with Remax anymore. Right here is our second group. We were about a 1/4 inch left and 3/4 of an inch high. And then right here you can see where the paper is obviously ripped, but the center of the bullseye was right about where my finger is. So I've got 2 that were right there, and then I've got these 3 over here that were right on it, just a little bit high, a little bit left. Well, I feel pretty confident saying that that rifle is tuned up, sighted in, ready to go. I will say on my part, I need to get a little bit more used to the trigger, a little bit tighter groups on the target at 100 yards. I do feel confident if there was a coyote at 100, 200 yards, I could nail that thing, no questions asked. I told you I was gonna give you a little bit of feedback on the suppressor, on the CMC trigger, and just the overall impression of the setup, because it's my first time out with it. The trigger is an absolute game changer. I used to get very frustrated shooting that rifle where I would have 2 and 3 inch groups at 100 yards with 5 rounds. And it was just very frustrating because I know I'm a better shot than that. Like I said, that trigger was very gritty. It had almost like a catch in it. Whenever you'd pull it, you weren't sure when it was gonna release and go to that next little wall before the gun actually went off. So having this, I'm running a CMC single stage 2.5 pound trigger. It is, whenever you pull it and it breaks, I mean, it's like, it's real crisp. It's just, it breaks right whenever you pull it. It's got a real crisp reset, so you know what you're getting into whenever you actually pull the trigger. It's not a guessing game of, was that a catch? Am I at the wall? Is the gun fixing to go off? It was none of that stuff. It's, you're on target, you pull it and it goes off. You really squeeze it and it goes off. Very little pressure. I love the trigger. I've got a 308 that I'm putting one on. I'm getting the barrel threaded on it. It's gonna be almost the same setup. I'll show you guys that. As far as the suppressor, I mean, I am still running earmuffs. Part of that is to just, with some of the blowback and all that, keep stuff out of my ears. But also, it does significantly decrease the amount of muzzle blast that I'm getting. So with varmint hunting, it's gonna be an absolute game changer. I'm really excited about this rifle. I love everything about it. I've always loved it. It was my first AR, first varmint rifle really, and I'm glad that I've finally made these modifications to where it's just a little bit of a tack driver. So anyways, if you guys have any questions about the setup, be sure like this video, subscribe, check out other videos on the channel. I appreciate you guys watching, and I will talk to you soon.